want to give you a live look right now at just some of law enforcement continuing to be right outside of the scene. They'll be there all night and into the day tomorrow as they continue to process this scene. And we just heard from the fifth grader still trying to process everything that he saw that happened. It was a normal church service, and then, of course, shots rang out, and then it was just pure madness from there on out. I do want to bring in our next guest to help us break down the situation and playing out in Minneapolis. This is Randy Sutton, a retired police lieutenant, as well as the Wounded Blue, running that operation. Randy, thanks so much for joining us on Live Now from Fox. Again, we meet here, just terrible circumstances playing out in Minneapolis.
Yeah, this is tragic. And watching that little fifth grader tell the story so incredibly coherently, considering what he has just been through, that's amazing. But it shows the depravity of this killer, this individual who indiscriminately shot at these children in a church. This is true evil, cruelty beyond belief, and that little boy is incredibly put together and brave to be talking in a very adult fashion about what he just experienced.
Yeah, hard to think about. Just hours later, he's able to just put these sentences together and continue to talk about what he saw and ultimately heard. But Randy, again, we're talking about a school shooting, this one different, at a Catholic school, taking place in this part of the church where they were having morning mass, and this coward shooter opening fire from outside looking in.
Yeah, there's a lot to go through here. That's what all these investigators that are on the scene are going to try and determine. What was his motive? I understand that there is a manifesto, as we often see in these ridiculous situations, by these people that create such incredible havoc and death and destruction, want to leave their thoughts behind. It was also just before we aired. I was advised by someone in law enforcement up in that area that a social media post from the suspect was, in the quote, said, "Kill Donald Trump," and also calling for more violence by Democrats. So if that is accurate, then we're looking at some weird politically motivated shooting here. What his ideology is, we don't know. What his mental state is, we don't know. But what we do know is that he was effective in what he did, in that he targeted this church. Apparently, effectively fired a lot of rounds through the window, striking a number of people in there, killing several of them. And now the investigation is just at the very beginning stage.
Yeah, and if indeed that is true, we don't know at this point here, but we're going to be waiting for confirmation from that. But, if that is indeed true, why is it where we see so many times in the past where these shooters, they think that their words and their actions are going to be remembered forever. They want to write it down. They want to post videos on it. And then they say, hey, you know what's going to be, I'm going to be remembered by? I'm going to go and try to hurt and kill little kids. Why do we see that so much?
This is a narcissistic type of situation that we've seen over and over again. This weird sense of narcissism that seems to attach itself to these killers. They're clearly people who have severe mental disturbances going on. Anyone that is capable of doing such violence arbitrarily, is clearly got mental issues. But you judge the behavior, you don't judge the cause. And looking at this in retrospect, as the investigators will do, will try to determine just what his nihilistic motives were. Was this aimed at President Trump? Was this aimed at a certain religion because this took place in a Catholic school? Is this because of some bizarre ideology? These are all the things that we as human beings and as Americans want to know. What could cause someone to commit such an incredibly cruel act to deprive children of their future, to deprive parents of the lives of their young? There's nothing more cruel than for a parent to lose a child. It goes against the natural order of life. And when as a cop for so many years, I've dealt with these situations where parents have to live with the deaths of their children. And unfortunately, in my capacity at the Wounded Blue, I find that it is situations like this where police officers are dealing with having to break this type of news to the parents. How it deeply affects their emotional and mental stability, and can cause a serious issue with post traumatic stress.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Randy, when you talk about your project with the Wounded Blue and what this must do to law enforcement members when they come to a scene like this. And this has to be the worst thing imaginable for them to see little kids dead on a church floor.
It's horrendous. It's unfathomable what they are going to go through emotionally and spiritually when they you can't unsee things like this, and it will have an effect on many of these officers. And so it's important that I put this out to any officer who is up in Minneapolis who's dealing with this. The Wounded Blue is holding a conference which will help you deal with this. September 22nd through the 25th is our National Law Enforcement Survival Summit. I offer you this. You contact me, Randy at thewoundedblue.org, and you will get this. You will get into this conference for free. We will waive any cost involved with it. We just need you to know that people care, that your brothers and sisters care about you, and we will take care of you. I understand what you're going through. I have been there, and we will be there for you. So any law enforcement officer who is dealing with this situation, contact me, Randy at thewoundedblue.org. There is help. We do care.